Do I need to introduce myself?
I don't know if you need to do that, but don't worry, you can allow us introduce you.
All
Hi,
right.
Tijani. I think you were here the last time from Lagos. Thank you for joining. I think I recognize Sylvia from last session as well. Thank you for joining. Hi, CJ from Lagos. Thank you for joining. I think in the last session, I said that we had more people joining from Lagos than Abuja or anywhere else. It's exciting to know that a lot of people are also joining from Lagos today as well. Nice. Hi, David from Ibadan. Thank you for joining. Hi, Afolabi from Lagos as well. Thank you for joining. Hi, Okun. I'm not going to try to pronounce the surname so I don't get it wrong. Hi, Sunday from Abeokuta. I think you were here last week. Welcome and thank you for joining. Hi, Ezekiel from River State. Thank you for joining. Hi, Bakare. Thank you for joining. Hi, Immaculate. Thank you for joining. Okay, while we continue to introduce ourselves, tell us your name and where you're joining us from in the comment section, I would just go ahead to introduce our speakers and also let us know what we would be discussing today. So on this webinar, we're also going to be looking at mastering data lookups in Excel. This is a part 2, is a continuation from what we did last week. This webinar is basically to empower everyone here with the knowledge and the skills that we need to thrive in our rapidly evolving tech space, like we all know. So this webinar is open to individuals, just like everyone that have joined here. If you're joining for yourself, if you're joining for your company, this webinar is open to everyone. And I want us to know that we're going to be looking at some Excel lookup functions, VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, XLOOKUP. If for some reason you're not able to catch up with this, we also have on the website the recording from the previous session. So do well to go back, watch the video. If you have any questions while the session is going on, please feel free to use the comment section. Hi, Taiwo. Hi, Hannah. Hi, Tosin. Hi, Precious. Welcome and thank you for joining us. So to our speakers for today, first, I'm going to be introducing Mr. Muyiwa, who is an expert. He's also a data analyst and has successfully managed and analyzed large data complex sets using advanced tools. So we're going to be having Mr. Muyiwa join us to put us through some of the things on the topic we're talking about today. We are also going to be having Mr. Kingsley Opara, who is also a data analyst. We were not able to have him speak at the last session, but today we are going to be listening and learning from him. Finally, not finally, we also have someone, Mrs. Jennifer Watcher. She's also a beautiful data analyst that would also be talking to us today on the topic we have. And finally, like we all know, we have our amazing boss, our amazing data analyst in the house. We all know Mr. Emmanuel Opara, who is a data analyst with over 10 years experience in the industry. Mr. Emmanuel is the founder of Camanda Technologies. He's also currently serving as the co-founder and the CEO at Camanda Tech Academy. Let's do well to welcome all of our speakers. Please feel free to use the reaction, the emoji icon, and just say welcome to all of our speakers while I hand over the session to them. Please remember, if you have any questions, kindly drop your question in the comment section and we'll do well to attend to that. Thank you, guys. Over to you, Mr. Emmanuel.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Jacinta. Thank you very much for the introduction. I think the stage has been set. You're all welcome. You're all welcome. Just to point out, so Jennifer is working with us behind the scenes to make sure that this particular session is a success. Jenny won't be presenting, but this session coming live to you today is because of Jenny working behind the scenes every day, every hour to make sure it works. So just wanted to point that out. So thank you very much, Jacinta, for that wonderful. I mean, as I said, see me, I've not even finished speaking. Jennifer is already engaging in the chat room. I told you guys that is how she does her things behind the scenes. You don't see it. For us to have a successful session like this is because of someone like Jenny. So let's take a second to appreciate Jenny. I beg everybody. Thank you very much. All right. All right. So we are here. We are here once again. And I'm pleased to welcome my friends, my fellow instructors and experts in this particular field. My name is Emmanuel. Um, and today, hope you can hear me loud and clear, though, so that we are on the same page. Hope you can hear me loud and clear.
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, fantastic. So, without further ado, let me bring to the stage Mr. Muiwa. Muiwa, do you want to say something to the house quickly before we get started?
Good morning, everyone. Once again, my name is Oluwami Waladito. So you are welcome to the part 2 of our lookup function masterclass. I know we
Fantastic.
enjoyed this 2 session. That's why we asked for part 2 today, which we have brought to your table. And I know we have more to arrive on to it today. So just stay back and ensure that you enjoy another practical session we are going to dish out to you today. Thank you very much.
Good, good, good. Thank you very much for that, Muiwa. Also, I would love to introduce none other than Kingsley Opara, who is also with us today. Kingsley, can you say something to the house so we can get started?
Hi everyone, good day to you. And I want to tell you that I'm excited to have you guys on the call today. Last week was an exciting time, very exciting and educating section we had. And I want to let you know that today we have more exciting stuff, and it's an honor and a privilege for me to be able to share this knowledge with you. So enjoy your time with us.
Fantastic. All right. So before I get started today, something crossed my mind last time when we had the session, and I love to quickly get I love to quickly get your feedback. I love to get your feedback, right, based off what we did the last time. Has anybody practiced what we did? If you practiced anything like what we shared with you the last time, we practiced something about it during the course of last week to this week. Can you quickly indicate by raising your hand? Anybody? Anybody? Okay, good. Oluwatobi, fantastic. Thank you very much. But I did not get anything in the email. Whoa. Okay, okay. I see. All right. If you didn't get anything in the email, that will be sorted. Okay. Let me maybe drop your hand first. I think okay, let's start by saying if you didn't get any practice materials in your email during the course of this week, please indicate by raising your hand so we can sort this out quickly. Anybody? I did not get the practice materials. Wow. Okay. Okay. I see. Any other person? We have 3 hands raised. Okay. 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 I did not get the practice. Okay. Oh, I see. I see. I see. All right. So we would email each and every one of you that is currently present here with the practice materials immediately this session is over today. We'll make sure that it gets to your email, and we'll do well to reach out to each and every one. I didn't get the practice materials. Interesting. Interesting. All right. All right. Thank you. So let's get into the conversation for today. So we'll make sure that the materials get to you today unfailingly. Please take note, Jenny, of the persons who have raised their hands so that we can also reach out to them afterwards. Good, good, good. Okay, Tijani, Justina. All right, fantastic. So without further ado, let's go into the conversation for today. Data lookups in Excel. Last time we talked about functions in Excel. We did an introduction to Excel. Introduction to spreadsheets. We also talked about what functions and formulas we are in Excel, right? And also linked that same knowledge to how they are applicable in other spreadsheet applications like Google Sheets, right? We also mentioned that these things that we're teaching you today, whether they are practicable in Excel, they are equally practicable in Google Sheets. And today we have one of us here who will be teaching you how to do this exact same thing using Google Sheets. He will teach one of the functions today using Google Sheets. All right. So kindly lower your hand so that we can use that for something else afterwards. Thank you. Please take note of these so that we can address. Yeah, thank you very much. So we talked about the functions, and we started with the lookup function. We talked about the lookup function, and today we want to jump into one other function, which is very, very important, though not always used, but it's equally a function that is available for you to use in Excel and Google Sheets. And the name of the function is called HLOOKUP. Name of the function is called HLOOKUP, right? But before I go into HLOOKUP, just a quick recap. Under VLOOKUP, we talked about how the lookup function works, the limitations of it, your data model sorted in ascending order for it to work, right? And how VLOOKUP was an improvement to the lookup function, where you can do exact match, where you can do approximate match as well. And we talked about VLOOKUP being a vertical lookup, right? And it looks from left to right. Okay. So today we want to improve on that knowledge by talking about HLOOKUP. So I'd like to bring to the stage Mr. Muiwa to talk about HLOOKUP. Muiwa is one of our instructors here at Camanda Academy. He teaches Excel and Power BI here with us at Academy. So Mr. Muiwa, kindly share your screen so that we can talk about HLOOKUP. And while he's doing that, HLOOKUP is known as the horizontal lookup. It's like a sister or a brother to the VLOOKUP function that we had already talked about last time, right? HLOOKUP function is available both in Excel and in Google Sheets. So meanwhile, are you ready for us? Okay. So while last week we talked about VLOOKUP being a vertical lookup, HLOOKUP in this case helps you to look the other way around. Okay, the horizontal lookup. So meanwhile, today we'll take it from there and let's see what he has for us. Meanwhile, over to you. Meanwhile, if you're speaking, I can't hear you.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Please confirm that I can see my screen also.
Yes, I can see your screen, but you may need to zoom in a little.
Okay.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, is it good this way?
Yes, I can. You may proceed, please.
Okay, good. So today we're starting with HLOOKUP. Now it will interest us that aside looking up vertically from column A, we want to retrieve data from column A, column B, column C. You can decide to retrieve data on row basis, row 1, row 2, row 3, depending on where you would like to retrieve your data from. So to do that, we have one of the lookup functions to look into, which is the HLOOKUP. So HLOOKUP helps us to look our data based on row basis. So we want to look from the top row down to the subsequent rows under it. So now, here we have our syntax. For this function, you have a lookup value. Like I said in our last class, your lookup value is the data you want to search for. A table array is where you have the data you like to retrieve. There you have your search data. You also have the data you like to retrieve. Then your row index number and your range lookup. So let's go straight into it. HLOOKUP. your lookup value. Now we have decided to check the revenue for quarter one. As a sample, we want to see the revenue for quarter one. So my search data, which is my lookup value, is I'm referencing quarter one, comma. Now my table array. So I'm going to highlight from where I can find the lookup value from your lookup range. I'm going to highlight the whole table. So I've done that. I've just highlighted the whole table, comma. So you can see now the next thing is your row index number. Your row index number. Your row index number, you start counting from your lookup range. Now remember, now look at our lookup range is row 1. So that's there you find where you can find your search data is automatically row 1, then followed by the subsequent row 2, row 3, row 4. Now we like to retrieve the revenue for quarter 1. Revenue is on what row? Revenue is on row 2. Our search data is on row 1. Our revenue that we like to retrieve is on row 2. So you indicate row 2. Then comma. Now your range lookup. Remember on our VLOOKUP, we talked about approximate match and exact match. And we saw scenarios where you can use approximate match, where you can use exact match. And I also said that in most cases, you always like to return exact match. So in this case also, we like to return exact match. So I can either enter 0 or I double click on false, which is representing our exact match. And I can now close the brackets. Enter. So let's confirm our results. Quarter 1 revenue. Let me do the same.
Before you proceed, I just so that I can also help my people who are on the call to understand what we are looking at and why we are doing what we're doing. All right. So first things first, can you zoom in on the data set again before we look at the function? Kindly zoom in on the data set so I can explain that to everyone who's currently here. So if you notice that the data set that we have in front of us here, right, has data. This is usually like a financial statement. Okay, you have the quarters, right, on columns, or the months on columns. Okay, so thank you very much. I'm going to repeat that again. We have the data that we're looking for. Can you see quarter 1, 2000? Yeah, 2000 quarter 1. Mira, kindly expand. Kindly zoom in further, please. Kindly zoom in further. Kindly zoom in further. Yeah. Also, Google Meet permits you to zoom in on your screen in case you are using. All right. So good.
I don't
so, no, not you. I don't mean you. I mean for the audience. I'm just speaking to the audience. So if you go to the top, you can see the headers. Meanwhile, can you make the header bold? The two headers, the horizontal header and the vertical headers. Can you make them bold? Now, you will notice something, right? The data that is currently being stored here says revenue, right? For quarter 1 is 1517. Revenue for quarter 2 year 2000 is 1247, 1248. You kindly put your mouse on that. And going on like that. That's for this particular company. They are currently recording their revenue in this particular format. All right. As you can see, quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3 for each year, the data is currently increasing forward. Right. And now, on the next line, we have, in this case, the country's GDP. This is in the United States. The country GDP for that particular period. Sometimes companies check this, they check their performance against what is happening economically, right? Both in their region and regions outside their region. Okay, now this is looking at Europe as well. This is looking at China. This is looking at a particular, this is the data we are looking at here is a store, a particular store that runs a particular brand called Nike. Okay, Nike here, or in Nigerian term, Nike, is a brand. Now, Nike is also has its own revenue. Okay, so what are we looking at here? Every line here tells us a different story about this business. The revenue, they have the price index, they have their Nike or the Nike revenue for that particular period. Okay, now you want to return the revenue. Now, this is not a VLOOKUP thing. If you do a VLOOKUP, for instance, you are going to be looking from left to right. Okay. But this person says, I want to give me the revenue for this particular period for quarter one. This particular one is currently on a row basis. It's no longer on the column. The value you're looking for is no longer on the column. So if your data is looking in a different format and you want to, instead of you to change instead of you transposing the location of your data in order for you
to the
to
portal
look
and
up,
get it out before you guys print it for me.
instead of you to change or transpose the format of your data, what do? You use your HLOOKUP to look for your data in the other way. So what is Muiwa looking for? Muiwa is looking for revenue, right? For a particular period. Now, Muiwa, please, can you show us how to look for Nike revenue for that same period?
Okay.
The exact same period. Notice now, we're not going from left to right, we're going from top down. I hope it's making sense.
To check Nike for quarter one also. So
yeah, good. Let's put it in
want
front
to
of
check
revenue.
Nike for quarter one also.
Exactly.
So equals HLOOKUP quarter one, which is our search data or our lookup value. Then our table array from our lookup range down to where the result we like to return is. Now in this case, previously we saw how to return revenue, which is on row 2. Now in this case, what row does Nike falls under? So let's start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So Nike falls on row 7. Comma 7. Then we want to return the exact match. 0. Close your bracket and hit enter. So we have successfully returned the results for Nike for quarter one. Any question, please?
I have a question.
Sure, please.
Right.
Okay. Good afternoon and thanks for the lecture so far. So while Prof was explaining something earlier, I thought about something. The revenue itself we have for year 2000 Q1, year 2000 Q2 up to 2002 Q3. Let's assume that the goal is to get the sum of all the revenue. It's a large data set, so it's impossible for me to start searching one by one. But I want to get the sum of everything in that revenue. Is it possible to use lookup for it? You know that we have 1517 for year 2000 Q1, but I want to total for everything in that particular
in that particular row. Okay.
Lookup. However, the data set is large, so it is not possible for me to start looking at them one by one. But I know that, okay, for revenue, I want to use VLOOKUP to, get the sum of everything in that particular row in terms of, the revenue. Is it possible to use it? Because I noticed we've been using lookup so far to get just one value.
Yeah. Good question. Good question. Remember when I talked about Excel functions and formulas last week? All right. Please let me take this one quickly. And when I talked about Excel functions and formulas last week, this falls under one of those many functions that exist in Excel. Okay, there is a sum function. We will show you that quickly. There's a sum function that you can use to sum a large array of numbers without looking at it one after the other. Okay, there is a sum if function that gives you sum based on certain conditions. Okay, I know this is not a full Excel class. Of course, we have a full Excel class that we run for about 6 weeks. But there are some functions. We will show you how to sum up this whole row, no matter how many data is in it today. You can sum it all up. All right, maybe I'll show you that quickly. But lookup, which is our focus for this particular conversation, is remember when we said last week, we are searching for a particular set of we are searching for something, right? Lookup is the function you use to find that thing in Excel or Google Sheets. How would that make sense, Akintayo? Lookup is that function that helps you to look for that one thing or that set of things. Now with XLOOKUP, you can now search for a set of things that helps you to find something in Excel. Okay. But in the case that you're talking of right now, which is the sum, okay, let's Muiwa show you that quickly. Can you see Muiwa has created a new column, set column, and let's debate quickly. Column
Okay.
N, you see
So
it? You are kindly color it so you can see, so it's clear to everybody. So you know we're not looking for it. Yes, you cannot. Yeah, good.
so to quickly sum up, like the question that was raised. Now, you enter your sum function, which is equals to sum. Or even before, if you don't want to stress yourself, you can just go to your own, place your cursor at the end where you would like to have your results. That's important. You will not want to sum up your old data and just place your cursor in your place, make an active cell in between the data. No. Make an active cell at the end of the data where you would like your result to be. Now, I've placed my cursor here. I can go to Home's menu under editing group. You will see a sign, your summation sign. Once you click on the drop down you have there, you have your sum function. Or you click on it directly, your sum function comes up. You can see what it just did. It highlighted the range where I placed my cursor. It highlighted that whole range. Then you can press enter. Or if you don't want to go through that route, you can just decide to do equals to sum yourself. Equals to sum. Once you open your bracket, you align the range of cells you would like to sum up. You align the range of cells you like to sum up, then you close your bracket and press enter. So whichever way you feel it is easier for you to use, either by clicking on the sum function or by writing out the sum function by yourself. Whichever way you think is easier or faster for you, you can make use of that. So since we have gotten for this, we don't need to repeat the process for this second row. You can just reuse your formula by autofilling. Then you have your results on the subsequent row. You can do it vertically, you can also do it horizontally. Have we been able to answer your question, sir?
Yes. I just wanted to be sure that this VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP is for unique value. I thought it had if you are trying to do this type of song. I know about some if and all of that, but I just wanted to be sure if there's any usage for this
there are
song.
different functions for different purposes.
Fantastic. All right, let's get back into HLOOKUP from Muiwa. Any further questions for Muiwa before he continues with the HLOOKUP? If you are confused, raise your hand. Based on HLOOKUP we've talked about so far, if you are confused, raise your hand. I'll take one person's question. Okay, good. We have plenty of people that need answers to something. Okay, let me take Felicia.
Okay.
Felicia, I see your hand up. Kingsley, yes? Let me hear you.
Okay, don't worry. Take the questions.
All right, Felicia, let's hear from you. Can you unmute your mic and please ask what your question may be so we can clarify for you. Hi, Felicia. Okay, Felicia, we can hear you. Let's go on to Olorulambe.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, Felicia, go ahead, please.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning. Good afternoon. Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I can hear you.
I didn't
Please
really
proceed.
get the difference. I didn't really get the difference between the HLOOKUP and the VLOOKUP. I didn't really get the difference between the HLOOKUP and the VLOOKUP.
Okay, good question. So now, the difference between HLOOKUP and VLOOKUP, right? So Muiwa, you're going to do something for us so that we explain to everybody, right? We're going to do a VLOOKUP using the same data, right? We're going to do a VLOOKUP using this exact same data, so people understand why we are doing VLOOKUP separately and why we are doing HLOOKUP separately. Okay, so that's for Felicia. Ola Olambi, I've already called you before. Let me hear you. Is that the same question you have? Okay, I can hear you, so I'll take it to be Okay, let's take a different Onifade. Just need to explain to us better. Okay, all right, no problem. Thank you very much. So moving on, let's do something else. Let's show VLOOKUP using this exact same data and show why we're doing HLOOKUP separately. Okay, go ahead, please. Maybe
Okay.
over to you. Let's see if we
So
can do that in 5 minutes. Thank you.
now to quickly answer Felicia's question, want to use our VLOOKUP to return the revenue for quarter 3. Yes, to return the revenue for quarter 3. Want to use our VLOOKUP to return revenue. Yeah, want to use VLOOKUP to return the revenue for quarter 3.
Yeah.
So now, VLOOKUP retrieve data from subsequent row. You can't look backward, you can only look forward, left to right. It's check vertically left to right. So now we like to check what's the result for quarter 3. What's the revenue for quarter 3? So equals VLOOKUP. Our lookup value is the data I want to search for again. Comma. Now our table array. So I highlight from where our lookup value is revenue. That's what we want to search for. What we want to search for, comma. Our table array now is from your search data. You can decide to go beyond where your result data is if you wish to, or stop at where your result data is. Now remember, in this case, I want to return the revenue for quarter 3. So now my lookup range is column 1, column 2, 3, 4. So you count the numbers of columns to where your result data is. Because for VLOOKUP, you return the column index number. The column index number of where the result is. For HLOOKUP, you return the row index number because you asked for the difference also. For VLOOKUP, you are returning vertically, so you have to enter the row index, the column index number, where you have the result you like to return. For HLOOKUP, you enter the row index number where you have the result you like to return. So in this case now, our lookup range becomes column number 1. Our result data is on 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll enter comma column index number, column 4. Because I want to return the exact match, I'm going to enter 0, then close the bracket. So you can see, still using the same data, we have returned the revenue for quarter 3 year 2000, for 2000 year quarter 3. Let me also do the same thing for US GDP. Just in case you are not clear, equals VLOOKUP. Your lookup value, the data you want to search for. Your table array, from your table array is where you have data you want to retrieve. So once again, you highlight from where you will find the data on your table array. You highlight to where your result is. You highlight to where your result is. I want to return quarter 3. That's where my result is. So I'm stopping there. So as you're highlighting, you can be counting. Or even if you look at your label, you can see that the column number is popping up. You can see that as I'm increasing the column number is popping up. 8C, 9C is popping up. So that helps you solve the problem of counting manually. So as you are moving it, you can check the column number. So as it is now, quarter 3 year 2000 is on column 4. So comma 4. I want to return the exact match, comma 0, or you can double click on false. to return exact match. Then you close the bracket and press enter. Have I answered your question, Felicia? So that's for VLOOKUP.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome. So I guess somebody asked me to repeat the sample for HLOOKUP. So let's quickly check the revenue for quarter 1 year 2001. Let's quickly check revenue for quarter 1 year 2001 using HLOOKUP. So equals to HLOOKUP once again. Your lookup value, your search data. Your table array where you want to retrieve data from, starting from your search range or your lookup range, alight down to where your result is. So you can, if you have a lot of data, you can decide to alight beyond where your result is, beyond where your result is. Or it is not also a plan just to stop at where your result is, depending on what you would like to do. So let me just alight the old data. So now I want to return revenue. Your lookup range is automatically the first row. Then the other row comes after. So your revenue, our revenue is on row 2. Is on row 2. So let's indicate our row index number. For VLOOKUP, you indicate column index number. For HLOOKUP, you indicate row index number. So our revenue is on row 2, comma 0. Can close the bracket and press enter. So let's confirm quarter 1 revenue. I see 1,558. Are we clear? Are we clear? Is there any question? Are we good?
Good. Thank you very much for that, Miwa. I mean, I think I'm already seeing the thumbs up coming in. I'm seeing the thumbs up coming in. Fantastic. Okay. That's good to see. All right. Okay. So I think we should do one more so that we can take it over to the next function for the day.
Okay.
Maybe do
so
one more.
Let's quickly see quarter 2. Quarter 1 2002. Quarter 1 2002. So let's follow HLOOKUP. Lookup value, search data. Lookup value, the data the data I'm looking for, the data I'm searching for. Is it? Table array, where can I get the data? Starting from where the data I'm looking for is, down to the old data, or you can stop where your result is, depending on what you would like to do. My revenue is on your search, your lookup range, once again is on row 1. Other rows comes after the row 1. So our revenue is on row 2, indicates row index number 2. Then exact match is what we like to return. 0, close the bracket, then hit the enter key on your keyboard. So let's confirm quarter 1 year 2002, 1638. So that's that for our HLOOKUP. That's that for our HLOOKUP. So is there any issue? Are we clear? Absolutely clear.
So if you're happy with what Moyo has delivered so far, please let me see the thumbs up rolling in. Let me see the thumbs up. Fantastic. I'm happy to see this. All right. Thank you very much, Moyo. I think you take a bow at this point.
Thank you very much.
Excuse me.
Someone like to say something?
Can you hear me?
I can tell.
Yeah.
I can hear you now.
Yes.
Does it mean for these data sets specifically, I can use both HLOOKUP and VLOOKUP to get the same answer?
Does it mean you can use both HLOOKUP
And
VLOOKUP to get
same answer?
It depends. You can see using this same data set, we decided to use VLOOKUP to return for 33 revenue,
Yes.
and then what's it called? US gross domestic products. So
Yeah.
you can depend if you want to return row, use HLOOKUP. If you want to use return vertical, want to return column, you use VLOOKUP. So you can use both on a data set, depending on what you like to return.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
But ensure you stay on this call because there's assumptions mail coming in a moment. So make sure you
I'm
stay
glad.
with
I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm glad you mentioned that because if you, it's a case of if you blink, you miss it. All right.
Thank
So
you.
thank you very much, Muira, for that. Thank you very much, Akintayo, for your
okay,
question.
sir.
All right. So good. Now, I think the floor is set. The floor is set for the next big thing. But before we go into the next thing, right? Something crossed my mind and I felt like I should ask. All right. And okay, if you snooze, you lose. Please don't lose. Oh. If you don't lose, oh, please don't lose. So I feel like we should ask this question, right? And I would love to hear from everyone who's currently on this call. How proficient, how confident are you about Excel? So if we just sent a poll, which if you see the notification on your screen right now, right? I'd like for you to attempt answering that. We'd love to get your feedback quickly. How proficient are you with Excel? For those who are currently listening to us today, how proficient are you with Excel, right? In case you are not able to find the poll, this is how to access it. Let me show you. If you're using the system like myself, you're using a system like myself, can you see my screen? If you see the bottom right corner here, you see activities and you see the polls. Please feel free to respond quickly. Let's get the responses in. How proficient are you using Excel? Only one person has responded. I'd like more persons to give their feedback. Okay, it's beginning to show. Yeah. So if you're using your mobile, you should see the notification on your phone. Okay. You can look for the same three, you will see the three dots on your phone. You see the three dots on your mobile device. Kindly click there. And this we're going to be done with this in less than 30 more seconds or 45 seconds. How proficient are you using Microsoft Excel? Okay, intermediate, that's good to see. Okay, comfortable with most functions and formulas, that's good to see. I even have advanced users here, that's beautiful. My advanced users, that means you should be on this side of the call then. We should be tapping from you. Okay, let's see it pouring in. Okay. Okay, while we are getting those responses in, who is an expert user? If you know yourself, you can just select it. If you believe that you're an expert user of Excel, please just go ahead and select. I'll leave that one to your judgment. Okay. Okay, so let me see if I can get 2 or 3 more votes in, then we can continue with our session for today. 2 or 3 more votes, at least that will be 20% of 50% of persons on the call. All right. So while that is happening, the person that's going to give my 20th vote, I'm waiting for you. I'm patiently waiting for you. Are you the expert? If you're the expert, maybe just select the expert. Trust yourself. All right. So I'll just continue with my presentation for today. So far we've talked about, thank you very much, my 20th person. Please, the poll is still on. If you're just joining us, kindly find it and share your feedback. But I will just go straight into the next topic for today, which is index and match. Now, I promised you all that I was going to take this on myself. All right, and you get why. There's a reason for that. All right. I promise you, okay, Tijani, you've not missed a lot. We just shared a poll in the chat room. If you're using your mobile, you would see it. You'll see where you can send your answer to the poll that is currently live. We are just getting started on the next topic. Okay, so Tijani, you've not missed anything yet? So we're going into the next topic for today, which is index and match. Okay, so the poll is still on. Feel free to share your feedback on your experience using Excel. All right, index and match. And I promised you all that I was going to take this myself. And I want to deliver on that particular promise. Why is index and match in this conversation? Now, for those who do not know, index and match is actually two different functions, two different things. But when they're put together, when they are brought together, they do something that's even more powerful. Okay. I remember my when I started out. How does lookup differ from Excel? Your HLOOKUP doesn't differ in different Excels. The HLOOKUP is the same across. It's XLOOKUP that you may have a difference if you're not using M365. Okay, I don't know if that addresses the question, but please let me address that question in the chat room. Now, when I started my journey in as a data analyst, right? It wasn't even called data analysis at the time. I think it was strategy and planning analyst or something of that nature. I became part of a member of the business intelligence team, and I made some very great friends by the time, and one of them is a very, very close friend of mine now. I give him credit for this particular knowledge I'm about to share with you. I've been using VLOOKUP. I was confident using VLOOKUP to find things, okay? Little did I know that there was a function in Excel. It was right under my nose, but I wasn't considering it. And my guy was using it right beside me. It's called index and match. The first time he showed me, it didn't make so much sense, right? I'm like, you're indexing this, you're doing this or that one. What exactly are you doing here? But later on, he patiently went on to share something with me, which I'm about to share with you today. So please follow me, and I'm going to share that knowledge with you today. Okay? That's why I'm very particular about this. I'm very passionate about this. I'm very particular about it. So I'll be sharing my, I don't know if you're able to see. The index function has its own role. The match function has its own role in Excel. There are two different functions, but we're going to show you how to use that. Remember when we showed you last week in VLOOKUP that you cannot look backward, right? Voila. Apparently, you can actually look backwards. Well, ahead is what we pray for in life, right? But with index and match, you can actually look backwards. You can look for things both on rows and columns. That is the beauty of index and match. You see when we talked about lookup, we told you about the limitations of lookup. We went to VLOOKUP, we told you about the limitations of VLOOKUP, and now HLOOKUP. There's HLOOKUP that takes you both left. No, HLOOKUP looks left to right. And we have, VLOOKUP looks left to right, HLOOKUP looks top down, right? And I'm going to introduce you now to a function that helps you to look left to right or top down together, all in one. Okay? Now that brings us to the bit of index and match. How does index and match work? And for the Google Sheet users in the house, I'm your number one supporter here today. I'm not saying I have no issues with Excel, okay? But I'm your number one supporter here today. So I'll be using Google Sheet for my own teaching for today. But guess what? Everything I'm about to show you, you can also do in Excel. So follow me if you have your Excel with you as well, okay? So let me share my Google Sheet with you. Share my Google Sheet tab with you. Stop sharing this. Okay, so this is my, can you see my Google Sheet, please? Can you see my Google Sheet? Just confirm you can see my Google Sheet.
Yeah, I can.
Okay. Now you see this right here. I'm using the exact same data we use for VLOOKUP intentionally. I'm going to take away the VLOOKUP here so it won't be visible, because we don't get confused. Okay. But what we discussed in VLOOKUP here, I want to teach you something. Remember when Mio was teaching you last week? He said, take the employee name and search for date of birth. Of course, that was the only thing he could do. That was the only thing he could do using VLOOKUP. You can only take the employee name Zamora, where's Zamora here, and search forward and get the date of birth. And if you still remember that, it is equal to VLOOKUP. Select Zamora, comma, the range of data that you want to get the result from, make sure that the column where Zamora's name is the first column. These rules are very important. These rules are very important in VLOOKUP, right? Column number 1, the index is the next thing. Column number 1, column number 2, column number 3, column number 4, column number 5. What do we want to return? We want to return the date of birth, which is column number 5. Then do you want index? Do you want an approximate match or an exact match? We want an exact match. So we're going to use false here. Is it column? Is data sorted? No. So hit enter. Oops, I didn't hit my enter. And this gives me Zamora. Remember we said VLOOKUP doesn't matter whether your data is sorted or not. So that is why you can see Zamora, that is the date of birth, and it gives you that. This will not happen if you did the lookup. But now let's now see, can you see this is the employee ID of somebody else on this list? I'm intentionally not going to find the person. We have employee ID. And we want to look for the exact same date of birth. Employee ID now, employee number. Not name. Employee number. Okay? And we want to find the employee name. Right? We have employee number, I want to find the employee name. If I do a VLOOKUP, for instance, and I select VLOOKUP, and I say, remember the rule. The rule says the column where you're looking, sorry, my VLOOKUP first, the value. The column where you're looking for the value must be the first column, right? I select from that column forward. The column where you're looking for the value must be the first column. Remember, employee number is the first column here in this selection, right? And you look forward. If I say index number, where is the name? There is no name in this forward. And I cannot do -1 to say go backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I cannot get the employee name. I hope you can see where VLOOKUP now has its own limitation. I'm going to take a quick pause so you can see that I cannot do -1. Can you see it? That is where VLOOKUP has its own limitation. I cannot go backwards. I can only look forward. Yes, I can get date of birth. Date of birth is 1, 2, 3, 4. And I can say it's not sorted, false, or 0. I like that in my own in false. I can get date of birth, but what we need is employee name, not employee date of birth. So how do we fix this? Let me introduce you to the power of index and match. See, it's going to be confusing at first. That's the truth. It's going to be confusing at first, but be relaxed. I'm going to guide you through it, okay? The first thing about index and match, let me show you what index does first. Index. So I'm going to show you something quickly. Go to index. If I select a reference, see what index expects. Index says, give me a reference data. Give me a reference array. I'm talking about index first. Okay, if I bring in the match. Index says, give me a reference array, which in this case is how many the data you're looking at. Okay, and the next thing you give me is the row number and the column number. Okay, how do we do this? So if I select this whole data, for instance, okay, using index, right? And I select row number. Someone should give me a number. Give me a row number. Give me a row number. Somebody, anybody, talk. You need to unmute your mic and say something. Give me a row number.
19.
Row number 2. Okay, good. I can't go to 22, unfortunately. I think I have 22, but since 2 is suddenly everybody's mouth, so let me use 2, right? And I hit enter. Guess what will happen here? That's what you think what will happen. No, don't bother telling me. I'll tell you what will happen. Once I close this bracket and I hit enter, then we'll see what happens. This guy goes to row number 2 and gives me brown Mia in the first column. I need you to understand what index is doing first. Okay? It goes there and gives me brown Mia in the first column. I'll take it again. Equal to index. Give me my reference. So let me select just one reference this time around. I wanted to show you something, but let me select one reference this time around. Okay. And I say, I'm intentionally selecting just that column this time around. And I say, give me row number 10, for instance. And I hit enter. What do you see that happens? It looks for row number 10, of course, how does it count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and gives me row number 10, which is this name here. Okay. Remember, this is just similar to your HLOOKUP that we just talked about. Looking for values in the rows. And again, looking for them in the columns. I hope I'm beginning to draw the comparison for you here. Now, let's go. Let me take it a step further. Okay. The same index, I'll write it again, equal to index, so that you get used to it. I select these two data sets. No, let me select this. Okay. Give me row number 4, which is Stan Tyrone. But give me the value in column number. This date of birth is what column? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Give me the data in column number 5. Remember, so far we've not provided column numbers. We only provided row numbers so far. But now let me add the column number to it. Select your data. Give me row number 4. I entered 4 manually. Give me column number 5. And I hit enter. What does it give me? The date of birth. Hope I've not lost anybody here. This is the data we just got. That is index in a nutshell, first of all. Are we together? Did that make sense to anybody? Everybody's quiet.
Yes.
I can hear myself. I can hear myself. I could hear myself. I could hear the pin drop.
One thing that I want to be sure of is the index match requires 3 components. However, I can put 2. If I put 2, then it means it's going to give me that for the specific row that I'm indicating. But in this case, if I want it to go and pick Stion Tyron's details, but I want it to be the gender of Stion Tyron, then I have to specify the particular column that I want it to go to as well.
I'm glad that you were able to explain it to me in your own language, not my own. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Does that make sense? Don't forget, we have been doing VLOOKUP and the rest so far. VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, they're all there. But guess what? We have not even introduced match to this conversation. We're just doing index for now. Please pardon me. Yes, we're just doing index for now, but we're going to get to the match. Can we also autofill while using index? I mean, the answer is already on the screen, but I wish you didn't ask that, but it's already on the screen. When I did index here earlier, I actually had jumped the gun here. When I did index earlier, remember I selected an array of data, right? I selected an array, in this case, all of this, and I said, give me data in row 2. What did Google Sheet give me? It gave me everything for that person. Can you see that? This same one, this first one I talked about here. It gave me the name of it gave me the name, it gave me the employee number, it gave me the state, it gave me the zip, it gave me the date of birth and the gender. I hope that answers your question. So when you type your index and select an array and you say, give me row number 2 alone, what does it give you? It gives you everything in that row number 2. But if you select just one column, for instance, let's say you select just employee number column and you say, give me row number 11. What does it do? The system counts whatever row number 11 is there and returns it for you. I hope everybody's happy now. I want to take it a notch higher, so please make sure you're with me. Okay. I hope everybody's happy. Nobody's answering me, but I want to take it a notch higher. Okay, I want to take it a notch higher. Now, the concept of index and match relies on something. The principle I'm teaching you today is what we call the principle of index and match. When you want to use index and match together, what do you index? What do you match? Before I talk about that, this is index. Let me stop at index for now, so you understand what index does. This is index. This every time this course so far has just been index. But what does match do? Remember, I said match is another function on its own. What does match do? It's not matches, so it's not matches. It's not matches. Okay, match. Okay, so what does match do for us in Excel, Google Sheets? Match does something very simple. Match says, give me a value to match. If I select match, it says, give me a value to match. Let me say Let me type this person's name. Sorry, I need to copy the name quick before I do that. Let me type the person's name. Equal to match. Okay. Oops, this name has a space in it. Oops, let me just copy it out. Let me just copy it out. That name has a space in it, so I don't want to miss anything out of it. So I'll say equal to match. Select the value I want to match. Okay. In this case, 10 Tyrone. And give it a range to match from. Match works with just this kind of range. Okay. Then give it a range to match from. That's a single column range. Okay. And what kind of match do you want it to be? Now, there are different types of match. Do you want to remember when we talked about the approximate match in VLOOKUP earlier? Okay. When you're able to get the highest value that is lower than what you're looking for, or the lowest value that is higher than what you're looking for. Okay. So in VLOOKUP, we only could consider the highest value that is lower than what you are looking for. That's why we could calculate CGPA. But in match, it gives you three options. Can I get the lowest value that is higher than what I'm looking for? That is the value immediately after what I'm looking for, just in case it doesn't match it. Or can I get the value that is before the value I'm looking for? Or can I get the exact match? Okay. So if I use 1, right, as my match type, it gives me the highest value that is lower than what I am looking for. That's the value before what I am looking for. That's in case it doesn't match it. If you do -1, it gives you the value that is higher than the number that you're looking for, the immediate next number. I'm speaking jargons, I know, but I'll show you quickly. Then if I use 0, which is where this whole 0 concept came into play, which is give me the exact match, and close this bracket. I'm interested in the exact match for stems here. And I close this bracket. See what match gives me. Match gives me a very boring answer. 4. But what does this 4 mean? In the hands of someone as like an analyst, or in the hands of you as a data user, this 4 means a lot of things. This 4 means I can look for row 4 in my data without naturally thinking about it. How do I mean? It means if I take this Becker here and paste it on top of Tyrone's name, the index number will change to 14. It becomes dynamic. The row number becomes dynamic. If I take King Janet and change the name here to King Janet, the index number becomes a different number. Sorry, the match number, I'm saying index number. The match gives me a different result, which is 12. Yes, match gives me just a number. That's the truth. It's a very boring number. But in the hands of people who know what to do with it, it becomes a very powerful tool. So you can see individually, these guys do their own job like that. But when they are now mixed together, I hope the match I just explained makes sense to somebody. Match gives you just a number. Match gives you just a number. All right? But when we now bring the index and match together, remember when we said earlier, when we are doing our index here, we are returning a number. Don't forget. That's why I started by showing you what index does. Row number and column number. I hope you're beginning to see the convergence. Match will be used to get me the number. Index will be used to get me the results. My people, are you with me? Have I lost anybody?
My question is, if this
Okay.
thing is not
Captain Tayo.
actually giving us a value, I don't know. I don't know its use case. I mean, if it's not giving us a value that might help us with whatever we are doing, and we're just getting a number, which means we have to go and look for the value again, or is there something that we have to do after that? Because
Fantastic. That is what index and match is for. I can tell you, that's why I said index and match we use together on their own. Remember when we were entering these numbers ourselves? When we were entering these numbers ourselves, we were entering the numbers manually. We were entering row number 2 manually. We were entering the numbers manually, row number 10. But we can make it very dynamic such that when I enter a name, there is a match function that gives me the number and takes me to what I want to return specifically. So how do we do this? Let me now introduce you to the power of index and match quickly so that you don't get too bored with a match. I know match can be very boring, but you get why there's a reason why it's there. Okay. So now let's now use index and match together. Equal to index. Now, this is the principle I always wanted to teach. Index your results. Hear me, write it down somewhere. This is how it was taught to me. This is how it became a thing for me. Index the result that you are looking for. Index the column, the row that contains the result you are looking for. Index your result. Then match your lookup value. Write it down somewhere. Maybe you can also drop it for me in the chat box, people. Index your result, match your lookup value. How do I mean? Emmanuel, you are speaking plenty grammar. Let me show you. Index my result in this case is I want to return date of birth for Tyrone. Remember, we are wait, sorry, King Janet here. Let me go up. Let me take this guy up. I really don't need all these guys here. Let me delete them. I really don't need them. Let me go up so we have enough space. Index, right? Let's say we want to return date of birth alone. Let me say let's have very simple. We want to return date of birth alone. Index your result for date of birth. Let me start simply. Index the results for date of birth. Okay. Then I'll open a bracket. Sorry, after my comma, I'll do match. Remember before now, when we wanted to do index, we type a number here after selecting the array. We type a number 10, number 4. But instead of typing a number, we want to use the match to go and get that number. I hope you're with me. Akintayo.
Yes,
We want to use the match here to go and get the number. Okay, what are we looking for? Let me bring the value that we're looking for up here so we can see it together. What I'm looking for is King Janet. This is my lookup value. This is my lookup value. So index. In what other lookup functions we have done so far, you have always looked up the lookup value first. But in index and match, index your result first. Your expected result. Where the data will be coming from. Not your lookup value, where your result, the result you're looking for, what you want to return date of birth, index date of birth column. You want to return sex, index the sex column. You want to return date of birth and sex, index the two of them. Index your result. Match. We bring our match again. Now what I want to match? I want to match King Janet. Right? Where is King Janet going to be found here? After my comma, where is King Janet going to be found here? It's going to be found under employee. Right? Then what match type do we need? Exact match. 0. I close this bracket. I'm going to stop here before I hit enter. Does anybody have any question for me at this point before I hit this enter? Remember, Akita, you asked me a question. Not
Sorry, I have a question.
Okay, Kolapo, go ahead.
Okay,
please.
where you indexed the date of birth alone, what if you index the whole table? I guess it will work now.
It will work. It will work. It will definitely work. I'm just starting with one for now because my result in this case is my date of birth. The result I'm looking for is date of birth. Are we together?
Yes, we are.
Are we together? Akintayo, you were asking me not too long ago, why do we need match function? Does this get you closer to the answer?
Yes, it does.
It does. Good. So once I hit my enter here, what does it do for me? It looks for King Janet. Remember, I didn't have to type my row number or column number manually again. Sorry, give me a sec. This is King Janet. It goes and looks for King Janet's date of birth and returns King Janet for me. What does that mean? If I take another name, and paste it here, it automatically, paste values only. Oops, I don't know, I didn't copy it. Paste values only. It changes. It becomes dynamic. Match on its own just gives you a number. Index on its own, you have to enter the numbers manually. But with index and match, Zamora is here. This is her date of birth. Jane is here. This is this person's date of birth. Are we together? Let me return to columns again, index and match. The same person. Index two columns now. I will index two columns because see intentionally I'm running away from picking a column that seems like I'm referencing the name. I don't have to reference the name. I don't have to reference the name at all. I index date of birth and sex this time around, right? And I will do my match again. I'm matching the name button in the array for names alone. Remember, match is a single array function. Not, you can't do two columns like this. It has to be a single array, right? Comma, my exact match is 0. I close my bracket and I close my bracket on my index and I hit enter. What happens? It gives me the name of the person. Sorry, it gives me the date of birth for this person and it gives me the gender. Are we still on the same page here? It may look mysterious before now, but is it making
Please come
sense?
again, please.
I will gladly do so.
Thank you.
Sir, I have a question.
Okay, call up.
Why are we not adding the column number? Match is used to return the position of the row, and index the character. We have 3. Is the argument? We have the table array. We have the row and we have the column. So I'm not using 2. That's the index and the match alone, and we are not like looking into the column again because it is lookup table, the row and the column.
Okay, good question. Good question. Now, to answer your question directly, because I can select the column that I want to index, right? Because I can select what I want to index. Why do I need to enter the column number again? But now let's use column number since you asked. Let's use column number here. All right, let me take this a notch higher again. I will index again. This time around, let me index everything from column employee. All right, please, it's going to be a bit complicated here. Just pay attention. Okay, pay attention. Pay attention. Index this time around. I'm intentionally ignoring the name here. I'm coming to that very soon. Index now, then match the name. Match the name in the name column as an exact match. Somebody asked that question for me. Who is that person? Please tell me your name so I can, let's engage on this one right now. I'm going to enter a column number.
Mayowa.
What's the name? Mayowa, good. Mayowa, give me a column number you want me to return.
States 1, 2, 3.
It's not going to be 3 now. It's going to be 2. Do you know why it's going to be 2?
Okay,
because the reference
because
column.
we are selecting it from employee number.
Good. But the state is almost the same for all Massachusetts all around. Let's try a different column. Let's try date of birth in this case, but that seems to be the guy that has 1, 2, 3, 4. Now there are 2 ways to do this thing. I'm going to show you the funny way, and I'm going to show you the exact way. So let me say 4 for now and hit enter. Does it give me my date of birth or not?
Yes,
it does. But now instead of typing 4, I want to make it let me make it a bit more interesting. I will match the date of birth as well. This is why I said match can go, index match permits you to go both left to right or up to down. Now we know we have matched to get our column number, right? Our row number. Now let's match to get our column number. Now how do we do that? Once I select my match again, let me copy this formula so it is clear, so you can see the difference. So instead of index my results, I keep repeating that. Match the name I'm looking for in the employee name, right? And I need the exact match. But that is only one thing I have matched. I want to match the date of birth. So this time around I'll do match again. I'll put date of birth, DOB. That's the column name. So that the system will go and look for the column, the number for the date of birth, the column number for the date of birth. Are you with me? The column number that matches date of birth, right? And the range is from employee number to monthly pay as well. It's a bit complicated, I can tell. If you're just a beginner to Excel and I'm doing this in front of you today and you tell me it's complicated, I understand. But Maiwa, are you with me here? I'm specifically referring to you now. Are you with me now? If I address the whole house, Maiwa. Is Maiwa still here? Maiwa, you are speaking, I can't hear you.
I think he just left the call now. Just went off.
Okay, so but matching right now the date of birth, and I'm selecting the column, the row where I want to match the date of birth. And I also need that to be an exact match. So once I close this, what happens? It gives me the same date of birth. But I'll be more than happy to take questions now. I will have to pause now because I just made this thing a bit more complicated than it's supposed to. But please, let me take your questions. Questions, please. Is any hand up? Any hand up? Everybody's quiet. I don't know if that's a good thing. Is it a good thing that everyone is quiet? Please, questions. Index and match coming together to give you results. David, let's hear from you.
Okay, thank you, Prof. So I'd like to ask, for the index match, I know we can do the search from left to right or back to front. So what's the peculiarity between the index match and the XLOOKUP?
Okay, good question. I love the fact that you're already talking about XLOOKUP, and Kingsley will do justice to that shortly for us. We'll get into XLOOKUP shortly, and you will see the interesting thing about XLOOKUP. Okay, so Kingsley, someone is already waiting for your session. All right. Now let me simplify this thing again so that I don't lose you with the index and match conversation. Index says, remember we take it a step further by doing too much because of our friend Mayowa. But now let me show you index again in the simplest possible format. Index your result. Let's say you want to return sex here. No. Let me use employee number. That's actually what brought us to this conversation in the first place. Employee number is on column B, and I want to return the employee name. That is actually what brought us to this conversation in the first place. Employee number, right? How do I do this so it doesn't ruin everything I've done so far? Okay. Now let me return the employee name. So can somebody volunteer to join me on this journey, please? I want someone to unmute their mic so that I'm on the same page with them. I want to return the employee name and I want to talk about it with somebody. I need a friend here. I need to share how I feel with you. Anybody? Please volunteering. Anybody? People are not volunteering. Okay, Adenike, thank you very much for volunteering. Okay. If you remember, we said we should index what?
Employee number.
Okay. So what we want to return right now is the employee name. All right. We have employee number. Let me make it in green again. We have the employee number and we want to return employee name.
Yes.
Which is behind. So what does index say? Index says index your results. What is the result column here?
Result column. There is employee name.
Fantastic. So I'll select my employee name. Are we together, people? Didn't carry with me. Thank God you volunteer. Yes. So let's discuss it together. I will index my employee name.
Yeah.
I will open my match. And I will select my employee number now.
Number. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And what am I supposed to do here? I didn't care.
Then the table array will be
the range where I need to find the employee number.
Yeah, the range rather will be employee number.
Fantastic. Are you with me? Can you see where the employee name is? Employee name is the first thing we indexed. Employee number is the second thing that we're adding to the match function.
Yes.
Comma. What kind of match are we doing here, Denike?
That will be 0.
0 exact match. Fantastic. I can close my brackets. Thank you very much, Denike, for volunteering. And once I hit enter, what happens? This name that we did not know before, Foster Baker, comes to the light.
So can we
This
say, I want to
go
make
ahead, go ahead. Please go
So
ahead.
can we say the match function is also writing a function to call out the column that we want, as a result. You know, in VLOOKUP, we manually impute the result column that we want.
Yes, yes.
But now, using match, can we say that match is a function that we use to, call out the results column? I don't know.
No, the index is the one we use to call out the index, the first part of this formula.
Yeah.
This first part, the index is what we use to call out the result.
Okay. Yeah.
Does that make sense? We use match. You know what VLOOKUP used to do for us? VLOOKUP goes to find a value for us. We use match to go and find the value. Does that
makes sense.
Makes sense, right? Thank you very much for sharing. Now you have your questions answered in real time. Good. So index, we use index to get the result column or the result row that you need. You use match to find the value. I hope we are still on the same page here. If you are still with me, please let me see your thumbs up and start rolling in. Anybody, let me see if you are still with me. Good, good. CJ, Tejani, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I love this. I love this. I love this. But if you did not follow anything that we just said so far, please feel free to ask your questions. You can use the chat box. We have Kingsley, we have Muyiwa in the chat, and they will address your questions immediately. And the good thing about joining this session today is everyone that is here today, you have an opportunity to be a part of this particular kind of session, even on a larger scale. In larger scale, I'm saying we can discuss this for another 6 weeks. We have Excel classes, we have Power BI classes, and we have professional classes that focuses on these topics in full detail. Today, we have talked about this in 2 weeks already. But if you want to do this in more detail, we have other sessions, full sessions that last about 6 weeks, 8 weeks, where we're discussing this in weekends like this. It doesn't take too much of your time. So if you're interested in that, please drop your name in the chat box. Jenny will take it up from there and reach out to you. All right. So if you're interested in doing further sessions, can we complicate things a bit by using match? Of course, why not? We can complicate things a bit by using match in the VLOOKUP. Well, I think time will not permit me to. I would love to do that. You know what will happen? I think I would love to do that, but time will not permit me today. I still have Kingsley session for today, so time will not permit me to do that. But we can complicate things a bit. It's even very interesting to do, actually. So someone should write that down for me. Can we complicate things a bit? We should write that down. My organizers, please let me take note of that. Complicate things a bit by using match inside your VLOOKUP. Thank you very much. All right. So let me now take these things a step further, right? I'm still going to talk about index and match in another 2 minutes, and I'll be done. Right, I will now talk about this in another. I'm sharing a new data set. Okay, I'm sharing a new data set. Now, we've talked about index and match using straight up data that comes from columns, right? And I know, what's his name again, that asked the question, we said we can actually go both columns and rows. And let me show you how we can do that using a result set like this. Okay, and I'll round up here before Kingsley, so you should start getting ready. Again, as I said, if you're interested in taking part in a full session like this and other topics, going from beginners to at least intermediate level in Excel, Power BI, please feel free to drop your message in the chat box. Jenny would reach out to you privately. Thank you. Now, this is a result set for a school. All right. Now, with the help of, I actually broke the data set here in between. Actually, it's about 1,000 records. Now, there's a name of a student called McLean. I want to get his physics, economics, English, geography, and math score. Okay. Now, the data is currently stored in this format. You can see there's good data both on the rows and new data on the columns. This is actually a very peculiar situation that you might find yourself. How do we use the likes of index and match to return the result of physics, English? One can say you can do VLOOKUP. Yes, you can do VLOOKUP. Let me show you why I will not use VLOOKUP to solve this problem. If I use VLOOKUP, for instance, okay, I'll show you this solve this problem in two ways. If I use VLOOKUP, for instance, and I say search key is physics, okay, no, not search key, McLean, because lookup is vertical lookup, McLean, right? And I search in McLean here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, physics is number what? 1, 2, 3. So I manually enter number 3. And yes, I manually enter number 3 and enter 4. So that's your VLOOKUP. You already know these things, guys, right? Good. But when I go downwards, right, I have to write this formula afresh. I have to write this formula afresh. This is VLOOKUP. I have to write this formula afresh. Oh, instead of English is now column what? English is column 4. I'll go and change my 4 manually. This is probably what Akeji was asking us, if we can complicate things a bit further by using match. I can actually use match here, but the time will not permit me to break that down further. I'll change it to 4. The gentleman that I can tell that was asking us earlier, why we use what is match going to do for us? This is what match can do for you actually. Match can help you find these numbers easily. Right? This is column 5 or 4 now. I don't know if it's 4. This is 4. This is now column 5. I say I'm writing these formulas one after the other. I do not like this, honestly. I do not like this. Not because it doesn't work. It gives me the result. McLean. If I go to McLean here, this is McLean here. This is 82, 88, 72, 43. It works. But is this the way to write this formula? If these columns are 100, is this what you're going to be doing? How do you do it in such a way that it can scale, index and match? Or maybe your VLOOKUP and match, but I wouldn't use VLOOKUP because I want to go both front and back, which is why I use index and match. Okay, how do I do index and match? So this is using VLOOKUP. This is using VLOOKUP. Let me take it down here. Now let me use index and match, index, match here. And if you have forgotten what I said about index and match, don't forget this. If I want to write my index, I will index what again? I will index my result. What do I want to return? I want to return result of English, physics, blah, blah, blah. I will return the array where my result is. I do not care about anything else. What does this mean? In this space, can I find the result I'm looking for? Yes, then I will index it. Are we together? Can I find result of English in this space? Yes, then I will index it. So this time around, I'm not just indexing physics alone. I'm indexing both physics, English, economics, maths, and so on. Right? Comma. Then I will match. Where will I find my claim? The name is the first thing. It says the first thing you need is the row number. I will match my claim, which is the name of the person I'm looking for, in the surname column. So it will give me the row number and as an exact match. But that's not where it ends. That's not where it ends. How can I then match so that the physics, English, economics, and the rest continues to change dynamically? I go and write my second match. I match physics now. Remember before we just match one value. Now we're matching physics in this column here, in this row here rather. So what does the system do? The system will go through your data. It will check, oh, I need result of physics. It will look for what column number is physics. I need result for economics. It will look for what column number is economics. All right, comma, and I need it as an exact. Once I hit enter, it gives me the same 88. Emmanuel, why are you complicating my life like this? I will show you why it's not complicated. It's actually making your life easier. It looks like a complicated formula, but it's actually making your life easier. Let me explain. Sorry, before I even do that, I need to hold something static. I'm making these guys static cells. Is a concept in Excel which time will not permit me to do. Just go into detail right now.
Sorry, please.
I can hear you.
For that N9, can't we do maybe N9 to N14 and instead of just one value of 88 to spread all the values down?
Take that again.
For the last match we did for physics, You know, we still have for English, we still have for economics, we still have math, history, geography. So I'm asking, is it not possible for us to do N9 to then we throw it down to maybe N14, and then instead of giving us only 88, it will just drop down all the values for us?
Yes, that is a possibility, but remember, this is a case whereby you have the same subjects following one another in this manner.
Okay.
Right? In a case whereby maths is not here, for instance, you are creating a result of just other topics that don't include maths. That will fail you at this point. I'm not saying it will not work. Are you with me?
Yeah.
What you are saying is index an array and return the array as one result, which is good. We're showing you that already. Okay. But if maths becomes the last subject here, if maths becomes the last subject here, that will not work. This one that I just showed you right now is what will work.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Good. So if I now drag this down, while his question was coming through, I was busy. If you see here now, there are dollar signs around my what's it called? There are dollar signs around my array. There's a reason for this thing. This is like the first thing we'll teach you when we talk about Excel for beginners. Okay. If you're interested in that, please reach out to us. We'll take you through that. It's just a 6 weeks program. Okay. This is what we call absolute cell referencing. Okay, there's a reason for that in Excel and there's a reason for that in Google Sheets. So please feel free to reach out and we can teach you how that happens in 6 weeks. Okay, so if I drag this down, for instance, see what happens. Google Sheets or Excel understands that I am indexing my result, which is this area. I am matching McLean in this place, which means go and find McLean, which is here, row number 20. Now return anything that matches English, physics, economics, maths, regardless of the order. Return the value here for me. Now, maybe this is what Timothy was asking us earlier. Can I now sum this if it's what I wanted? Timothy, is it Timothy? Was it Timothy? It wasn't Timothy. What was that name again? I can't remember. You asked the question at the beginning, right? Whether we can use sum. Yes, I can tell you, Timothy. Yes. Maybe this is what you were asking us earlier. You can now sum this up to give you this result. Maybe this is what you are looking for. Who knows? Does that make sense?
Can you please come again with that last part after we did for 88?
Okay. So just to take it one more time, as I said, I will index my result, which is this area. Can you see the gold one? I index my result area. Okay. I match, the first match is the row matching. I match McLean because I'm going to find McLean on the row here. Okay. I match McLean to return the result. And I then match physics in this array of physics, English, economics, maths, history, geography. Basically making it dynamic. What that then means is if I drag this down, right, the formula updates and you can see economics is one that is now being matched. Maths is the one that is being matched here. Geography is one that is being matched here. History is one that is being matched here for McLean. Does that make sense? But if it was VLOOKUP, I have to start updating the formula. Give me column 6, give me column 7, give me column 8. And if by chance any of this column changes, this result will change. Are you with me? If my economics is no longer column 5 here, it becomes column 6. This result will now become empty. Let me show you. If I add a new column here, can you see economics is now empty? But index and match still maintains its value. Are you with me? In case it seems like I was doing magic there, take note of this. This is VLOOKUP. This is index and match. This is English. English is column what? 4. With VLOOKUP, it is as long as this guy doesn't move away from here, it's fine. But once I add another column before it, column 4 becomes blank because column 4 has no value in it. But guess what? Index and match still gives me my result because it is referencing English directly. So wherever English goes to, it's like an assassin. Wherever English goes, he finds it there and gets its value. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? I hope I've been able to convince you and not confuse you. My people are not here. Okay.
Sorry, I have a question, please.
Go ahead, Mayowa.
When you selected the index, the table array started from physics and it's ended on total, but our result is not showing total.
Yeah, because I did not return total. It's my choice. I did not return total.
Okay.
If I wanted to return total, I would return total. So that's what the flexibility index amount gives you as well. I didn't return total because I did not need it. Does that make sense? Okay, let me take it to be that everybody understands, or many people understand. If you understand, please indicate now. Indicate or give me your thumbs up. Let me see. Give me your thumbs up. Give me your thumbs up. Let it flow in. Let it flow in. Let it flow in. Let it flow in. Okay. I'm glad that we are all following. No, not all. Not everybody's giving me thumbs up. So I'll take it as some people are still following. Of course, this recording will be made available to you, so you can always watch it, right? You can always watch this. So let me hands off at this point. It's been a pleasure sharing this with you. But before we go, there's something that we have for you, which is very, very important, which is the concept of XLOOKUP. That is the one that everybody has been waiting for. I know we waited for index and match, right? But XLOOKUP is what we have next for you. But before we go into XLOOKUP, how many persons here use Power BI today? Can you indicate by raising your hand? I'll stop sharing. If you use Power BI here today, can you indicate by raising your hand? Stop sharing this so I can have this engaging section with you. You use Power BI here. Okay. How many persons? 2, 3. Wow. 3 persons. Wow, wow, wow. Okay. I'm built to. Okay, I see you. Fantastic. Okay, so it's going to 4. We really need to check. We really need to check this. Then how then do you use your? How then do you do your analytics? Or who does analytics for you? Okay, so I'll take it to be. So I just released another so if you're a beginner if you're new to Power BI and you're interested in learning Power BI, in the poll that I just sent out right now, please select that you're a beginner, right? So that we can understand that you're actually interested in learning Power BI. I just sent out a poll right now. I know some persons said they're already using Power BI. So let's hear, for those people who are already using Power BI, are you like an intermediate user now? Or if you're an absolute beginner here, a poll has just been shared. I showed you how to access your poll earlier. Let's interact quickly. If you don't know how to access the poll, I'll share my screen quickly so you can see that. Click on, okay, people are already interacting. But if you don't know how to do it, if you click on the bottom right corner here, if you're using your desktop, if you're an absolute beginner and you want to learn Power BI, just select I'm a new person to Power BI. We'll take it up from there for you. Okay. So activities. On the bottom right corner here, you see polls. You can then respond. So we can see how we are faring with respect to Power BI. 9 votes so far. Absolute beginners. Okay. Okay. Then we need to do something about this. We need to do something about this. We need to do something about this. I want to learn Power BI. Please indicate by raising your hand quickly. I want to learn Power BI. I want to learn Power BI. I want to learn Power BI. Okay. I want to learn Power BI. Good. Jenny, Jacinta, please help me take note of this. I mean, we need to do something for these people that are here today. I want to learn Power BI. Kindly indicate by raising your hand. I think that's like please, we are trying to take names quickly. Indicate by raising your hand. I want to learn Power BI. I have 10 hands up. Is that all? I have 10 hands up. Okay. Jenny, Jacinta, please confirm you guys are still here, that you're taking note of this. So because we need to do something for these people here. We can't leave them with this. I mean, after all this beautiful knowledge I was shared with them, we can't leave them just like that. I want you to learn Power BI. Okay, there are 12 hands up. Okay, now 13. Now 13. Thank you very much for indicating this. We will definitely no, we will help you with this. We will be more than happy to help you with this. We have 11 persons. So we have a session that's coming up. I will discuss about that at the end of the set once Kingsley is done. We have a session for you guys. I mean, since you guys are here today, about 11 persons have indicated, or more than that. 10. Okay, the hands are lowering now. So please, we're going to reach out to you and we invite you for our next session. This is end of August already. The session will be starting out in September, and we'd like for you to be a part of that. It's going to be in the weekends like this as well. It's going to be talking about Excel and Power BI. So Jacinta, Jenny, please take note of this so that we can reach out to these wonderful people and we get them on board and let's share this skill, this knowledge with them. Thank you very much. All right, that's done. So Kingsley, are you ready for us?
Yes, I'm very ready, Prof.
Good. So, I mean, we have been waiting for this. Many people have been waiting for this particular session. I need to acknowledge the fact that we've gone beyond the time, but that's because we are almost rounding up. So please indulge us. We are going to talk about XLOOKUP. Sit back and enjoy this part of the session. XLOOKUP. So what does XLOOKUP do? How does it work? Why is there XLOOKUP in this conversation at all? Okay, so you can lower your hands now so that we can talk about XLOOKUP. XLOOKUP is I'm not going to answer the question for you. XLOOKUP is another powerful function in Excel. It's available only in Excel 2021 and above, or Excel M365.
I keep checking up.
So it's available in Excel 2021 and above. So in case you're using Excel 2016 or prior, you might not find XLOOKUP in there. Okay, but when you're using Excel 2021 and above or Excel 365, you will find XLOOKUP lines. And if you're even using Google Sheets, good for you. You always have XLOOKUP anytime, any day. So sit back and enjoy what XLOOKUP can do. XLOOKUP is like a tool, a function that does everything that we have said so far, but just everything in one part, in one function. So I'll allow Kingsley to take it away from here. All right, Kingsley, over to you.
All right, thank you so much, everyone. I will just take it up from here. Good to, yes, and for my people on the call, I was going to say, why are you running? Why are you running? Because the number dropped drastically to 34. We had close to 50 people or more earlier, and then after a while, the number started dropping, started declining. Index and match was already matching people. All right, so very well. I'll be sharing my screen right about now.
Well, one, and I'm happy to make it easy for them going forward. Thank you.
Yes. So I bring you good news and good tidings, and I'll be glad to share XLOOKUP, which will be simplifying many of these things that index and match was doing to us. All right, and I got certain questions from certain people which I already got answers to, and I'll be sharing as I present right now. Okay, let me share my screen from here. Okay, so please confirm that you can see my screen. One or two confirmations that you can see my screen, please.
Yeah, we can.
I can.
All right, thank you so much. So yeah, XLOOKUP.
You may need to zoom in though. You may need to zoom in.
Okay, so it's quite tiny.
Yeah, just a browser zoom in, that should do. Okay, that works too. That works too. Go ahead.
All right. So to talk about XLOOKUP, right? I will start by discussing what XLOOKUP syntax looks like. All right. So this is what when I say syntax, I mean, okay, my Muiwa must have explained while he was discussing in the introduction to lookups as a whole, right? There's something known as syntax, and syntax are what guides you. In fact, as a beginner, as a learner, syntax will guide you even if you've not built a function before. With the help of syntax, you can be guided on how to build or create any function. All right, so I have taken my time to break down what the XLOOKUP syntax looks like and how they are used. And then that's what I've done here. So the first one in the syntax for the XLOOKUP is the lookup value. You need to know, first of all, what your lookup value is. Then the next thing you need to know is your lookup array. Okay. And also you need to know your return array. All right. And then later on, you now see this one. These ones are inside square brackets. All right. Are optional functions, optional features that you can choose to have and you can choose not to have, depending on what your result, what you want to achieve. All right. But the three most important features you must have in an XLOOKUP is what you know as your lookup value, your lookup array, and then your return array. All right. These other three, we'll talk about it as we go on. So very quickly, let me now show you the first thing that makes XLOOKUP very interesting and makes it different from VLOOKUP that we have shown you earlier. One of the limitations of VLOOKUP is that you can't look backwards. You can only look forward. All right. And now XLOOKUP has broken that limitation. So let's see how that works by providing the employee name for this employee with this employee number. Observe that the data set, the employee number is on the column B, the second column, while employee name that we want to get is actually behind. All right. And we also want to get the date of birth, which is also in front. So we want to see how XLOOKUP can look backwards and also look forward. So to do that, we'll do the first function by starting with equal to sign, then XLOOKUP. Like this, you can choose to press tab to take up the function, or better still, type it up completely. But why not go the easy way? So I'll just press tab to take up that function. All right. Now, what is our lookup value? This employee number A003. Press my comma. Now, where is your lookup array? My lookup array is here. It means where is the employee number located? It's located inside of this column B. And then, comma, where is my, what is my return array? I want the function to return employee name for me. So I highlight. Okay. Then close the bracket, hit your enter button. There you have it. You can use XLOOKUP to look backwards. All right. Let's try it looking forward on the date of birth. So XLOOKUP, select this, comma, look it up here. I will deliberately do something wrong now to explain something. All right. So I'm going to do like this. Return array should be the date of birth. I'll close the bracket and hit my enter button. Whoa, what are we having? NA. Why is it NA? There's a problem. And this is one problem a lot of us may encounter without knowing it, or without, I'm sure you deliberately didn't want to make this mistake, but you can, it's possible to have made it without you, out of maybe in a hurry or not being careful enough. So yeah, this is it. Your array must always be the same height, all right, or the same length as the case may be. All right, look at what happened here. When I wanted to get my employee name, I selected right from here. I didn't include the column name. I highlighted from here downwards. And when I wanted to return, I went to select right. I indicated, or I highlighted the column name as well. Now my column height is no longer the same, and Excel or the function is going to throw you an error. So what you have to do here is to erase this and highlight properly like this. And here you have your response. Now, what is the takeaway from here? If you want to highlight, if in building your function, you want to select only here, make sure that is what you are going to select in your return array. And if you are going to be selecting from employee name downwards in your lookup array, then be sure that when you are selecting your return array, you're also selecting the title of the column as well. I hope that's clear.
Good. Good. I also need to add that what you just shared right now is a very fundamental principle in lookup generally, right? Whether you're using lookup, VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, the range set, especially the lookup array and the search array, the return array and the lookup array must have the same number of values or columns in them. So intentionally, if you noticed when I was talking about index and match or VLOOKUP or XLOOKUP, whichever one, each of the data set always stop at the same place. Either we are selecting the whole columns or the whole rows or just a few columns, but the range size must be the same. Okay, if it's 50 columns you are looking for data in, you must also return values from 50 columns. Okay, that's when you're selecting that range. Thank you very much. Kingsley, over to you.
Thank you so much, Prof. Okay, so going on now, then on the next one, we want to see how we can search for a certain name and return a range of columns. All right. Previously, all we did was return employee name, return date of birth, on using two different functions. We did one function to get this, we did another function to get this. All right. Now, how about if we want to return a range of columns? All right. So let's see how we can go about that. This time around, what our lookup value is not employee number, but employee name. So let's do that now. So I'll start by I'll come down to date of birth. I'll use my XLOOKUP function. And then here is my lookup value, press comma. Now, where do I want to look up this value? Where is this value currently sitting? It's sitting in the employee column name. So I'll come here and highlight this way. All right. Okay. And then what I want to return date of birth, sex, and marital description, which are these three columns here. So I'll just simply highlight all three together like this. Okay, close the bracket, hit your enter button, and there you can have it, the date of birth, the sex, and the marital description all at once. Is this interesting?
Lovely.
All right.
The heart emojis are coming through already.
Okay.
So you're returning multiple values at the same time. Remember when we were discussing this in the index and match not too long ago, we showed you how index gives us this, right? So that is something similar. But if you now notice something, there's one function doing many things. That is the power of XLOOKUP. So with XLOOKUP, you don't have to do lookup, VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP. This is lookup on steroids, exactly. I will borrow that English. This is lookup on steroids, right? You don't need to do VLOOKUP to get some answers. You don't need to, just one function gives you everything. You don't have to go and be very geeky about Emmanuel's index and match or VLOOKUP. These are good functions. You can use them, right? I mean, till tomorrow, VLOOKUP still remains if I'm not wrong, the most used, right? But the truth is, as someone rightly said, this is VLOOKUP. This is lookup on steroids. You can basically use it for practically any lookup function that you need. Mayo, your hand is up. Do you have a question for us before we proceed?
Yes. This is very interesting. So now, if I want to add another column, like a return column, maybe I want to add the employee number. How can I go about it? Or the states? Now the columns we have now is date of birth. It is following. But now we want to move to employee name or states. How can we go about it?
Okay. If you want to do that, you will have to use a new function that is available on Office 365. I think it's just one of the newest version, newest functions updated on Office 365. It's called the choose column function. Prof, you can agree with me.
Yeah, go ahead.
You will not have this available on older versions. All right, you can only have it on Office 365. It's called the choose column. All right, so you may have to invoke your choose column into your XLOOKUP. Okay, so that when you select this as your range of values you want to return, you can now say return for me column 2, column. This is 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so column 2, column 5, column 6, and column 7. All right, so it will return for you employee number, date of birth, sex, marital description. But for this other one we just did, the values, the range of columns have to be sequential. They have to follow each other for you to get it this way. And if in a case whereby they are littered around, one is here and one is there, then you may want to invoke your choose column, function into your XLOOKUP. All right. I don't know how many of us has that, and this is I wouldn't want to confuse us further than this, and if you want to now do that, then you can as well use your XLOOKUP to, if you have these three columns following each other, and then you may want to use your XLOOKUP on its own to get the other column that is not together with them. Otherwise,
I think I recommend that.
You recommend that,
recommend that for a start, right? Not because your choose column function doesn't work, it does work, but I would definitely recommend that you can also add an extra function in front of the one you just returned, right? To return the value of that column, right? So you add an extra column with a VLOOKUP, an XLOOKUP in that one to return the column that you need. Does that answer your question? I think that was Mayowa, right?
So I didn't get the last part. I didn't get to Prof.
Okay, can you quickly show that?
Okay, so if we have,
just add another.
If we have to bring in employee number as part of our return value, say you want to return employee number, all right? So it means since we've gotten this one, we can simply do another XLOOKUP here on this. The normal XLOOKUP you already know now. So look this up inside here and then return employee number. So this is our best recommendation for now.
Thank you. I get it.
All right.
I have a question.
Sure, go ahead.
Thank you for the lecture so far. I just thought about something when Prof was doing index match based on the question that Mayowa asked now. Is it not possible for us to have XLOOKUP inside XLOOKUP, like we have index and we are matching?
Of course you can. Of course you can.
We're actually coming there.
I mean, the number that he mentioned just now, without having to do like separated XLOOKUP for employee number specifically.
Okay. But the XLOOKUP into XLOOKUP you just mentioned is not for this particular, is not for this objective. It will work for something.
We'll show that shortly.
Okay.
Can you say about showing that when you get to that point, right?
Yeah,
so
I'll do that.
The program works. Honesty, your hand is up. I don't know if there's a question or something. Honesty Bright, do you have a question for us before we proceed?
Yes, my question is this. I just want to know, this XLOOKUP, VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, can it be on normal Excel, or do you have to have a particular version of Excel before you can use all these functions? Sorry, I joined in late, please.
No problem. I will address that for you quickly. So apart from XLOOKUP, which is available from 2021 of Excel and above, there's 2021 Excel and Excel 365, right? HLOOKUP, VLOOKUP, index match, lookup, all of these exist in your regular Excel. Let me use your Warrior English, or exist in older version of Excel. Okay, you can find this in Excel today. XLOOKUP is only available in Excel 2021 and Excel 365. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Good. All right, Kingsley, over to you. I hope we're enjoying this session. If you're enjoying this session so far, can we see some encouragement for Kingsley? I know we're past the time, but yeah, okay, good. I mean, Kingsley, you still have some loyal supporters here. Some people are still here. Good. All right, let's fire down. Thank you.
Okay, so let's see how we can do an XLOOKUP, just like we've just done, and we want to introduce a concept known as transpose. Before now, I don't know if any of you have done a copy and paste, and when you want to paste, you are pasting as transpose, trying to take your first your first column to first row and stuff like that. I don't know if any of you have done that before, but let's see how that works here. It is aligned. The values on this other case, the values we wanted to return, we have it aligned on columns like this. This time around, we have it on rows. So let's see how we can do our XLOOKUP and bring our values here without in one single function. Okay, so let's do that right about now. So the same XLOOKUP we just did, XLOOKUP. This is the value we want to find. We want to find Queen Sean, and we're looking it up inside of the employee name column, and we want to return these values. Okay, now I close my bracket. If I hit my enter button now, it will give me exactly what we got here before. But no, I'm not going to press my enter just yet, because I want to bring in I want to introduce a new function that's going to help us transpose that result. So I'm going to use the transpose function. So I'll come to the beginning of my function right here, and I type my transpose, open the bracket, and then go close the bracket one more time and hit my enter button now. So yeah, that's it. So in one single function, you can do your XLOOKUP and then have it aligned in this form. Okay, clear? Let me know if this is clear before I move on.
That makes sense.
Does it make sense? The same thing we just did. The only thing addition is introduction of transpose. See here, introduction of the transpose. Okay, introduction of transpose. That's all. Nothing different. Transpose and an extra bracket, you know, to include the XLOOKUP function. That's all. Nothing different. Clear or not clear? Before we move on.
Makes perfect sense. Okay, there's someone's hand. Okay, I don't know if that person has a question. Mobolaji, your hand is up. Is that a question for us? Or you've dropped it? Okay, person has dropped. What does transpose mean? The question is, what does transpose mean?
Okay.
What does the transpose mean?
Transpose.
I think you should show the results you had before and the new results now. Good.
Yeah, this is the result. Initially, the first one, we had our results on columns, on different columns. Column J had the date of birth, column K had the sex, and column L had the marital description. Okay. On this other hand, we have date of birth on column I. All of them are all on column I, but on different rows. This one is on row 14, this one is on row 15, and this is on row 16. All right, and we want to have our values in this form. Okay, so before now, what would you have done? After you got your XLOOKUP, probably you want to do a copy and paste and start pasting. You copy, maybe you copy or you cut and paste here. You cut and you paste there. Stuff like that. But no, you can do the XLOOKUP function and then transpose it at once and get a value like this in one single function. That's the function of your transpose. That's what transpose does for you. Am I able to answer your question, ma?
As Tijani, hope that answers your question. The transpose changes your data from rows, for instance, where they are placed to columns, or from columns to rows. You say yes, you have your question, you have your answer. Yes, thank you.
Okay, so let's move on because of our time. Right. So yeah, we want to want to look up these values and see how we can deal with NAs. All right. So let's do that. Let's do our XLOOKUP. Look up employee number inside of the employee number column. I want to get the employee name. So I'll do like this. Okay, close the bracket. Okay, so once I do this, I just want to drag it down for the rest. I want to get for other employee numbers, because remember, before now, all we've been doing is we've been searching and returning values for just one item. But now we want to see how we can return for multiple items. We want to look up multiple items without having to type the function all over again. We can just type it once and just click and drag down. So let's do that and see. I'll drag down this way, and here you have it. You have NA, okay, NA here, you have NA here, you have NA. What does NA mean? It did not find that value. It simply means in this your employee number column, there is no employee with the employee number A020. Likewise, there is no employee with A32, and there's probably not an employee with 001, but we'll find out about that. Okay, so now if when you carry out XLOOKUP functions like this, you don't want to see this boring looking NA error, because they're actually errors. All right, you may want to replace this error note, these errors, with certain notes. Okay, that brings us to the third item in our syntax. In our syntax, we have lookup value, lookup array, and we have return array. Now we want to see if no found. If no, remember I told you these three are the essential ones. Compulsorily, you must have them in all of your lookup functions. But these other three that has the square brackets around them are optional. So they only appear when you need them. So now it is time for us to make use of if no found that is available in our syntax. Okay, so if no found, we want the function to return a certain value for us. Whatever we define as the value we want the function to return is what the function is going to return for you. So let's go and edit that formula again. Okay, so I'll come back here. This is my formula now. I'm not going to be in a hurry to close the bracket. I will now hit my enter button and say if not found. That is what the next item is. If not found, return for me a certain customized word or statement. Okay, so let me say, for example, I want to return missing, please check. Okay, I'm going to enclose it in double quotation marks like this. The essence of that is because whenever you want to enter in a text in a function, you must always enclose it with double quotation marks, just like I've just done. Okay, if you don't do that, the function is definitely going to throw you an error. Is that okay? So let me see. Let me close the bracket now and hit the enter button. Let's drag it down this time around and see. You see, now we have it forward. This one is available, this one is available. Now the other ones with NAs, the errors have disappeared, and we can now see missing, please check. Okay, because that is what we have customized as the word or statement we want to replace the errors, the NA errors. Okay, now one other thing you realize is from looking at our data set at a glance, we know that this employee with A001 is actually here. This employee is right here. How come it is showing us missing, please check? Now let's see why that is happening. That is happening simply because we have not locked our lookup array and our return array. Okay, so let me double click here and see. Once you double click here, you see highlighted we have the lookup array as B2 to B20. Okay, see it here, B2 to B20. All right, and we are returning, our return array is also B2 to A2 to A20. All right, but because when you click and drag, Excel by default we move the function, we keep moving along that column. It keeps moving from one row to another, because you have not locked the lookup array and the return array. So what do I mean by lock? That's grammar may seem very vague or strange to someone. All right, so what I mean by lock is to simply highlight your lookup array and press your function F4. Okay, what this does for you is that it introduces a dollar sign before the column name and the row number. The column name and the row number, it locks it. That is, it's like a pin. It uses to hold down your lookup array, so that no matter how long I move my formula or my function, don't move away from this point. Don't move away from this point. Even if I'm looking up another employee number, this one should not move, just remain static. All right. Now, I said function F4 is the command button on your keyboard. For some people, if F4 on your keyboard is serving two functions, it is important to add to use the function key to add together with F4 for it to work. For some others, if your F4 is just playing the function of F4 alone on your keyboard, if you press it alone, it will work as well. All right. But for me, on my keyboard, the F4 button is playing the role of F4 and also playing the role of my screen brightness. So for me to use the F4 function, I have to hold down my function key before pressing the F4 button. So that is the logic behind this. Now, if that seems very difficult to do, if you want to type your dollar sign by yourself manually, you can as well do like this. Come here, type your dollar sign before the row number, before the column name, and then another dollar sign after the column name. Then also here, dollar sign here, dollar sign here. So it does the same thing as what I've just done here. But why not? If you have your F4 button, save yourself the stress, just highlight that and press your function F4 and it should give it to you automatically. Okay, so let's see how this works now. I press my enter button. I say pick come here and click and drag down. You see, Braumia is now showing. So Braumia was on our list before, but it was showing as if it wasn't, the function could not find it because at that point it had moved away. It wasn't highlighting Braumia as part of the lookup array any longer. All right, and the simple solution to that is to simply lock your lookup array and your return array. Okay, and we can do the same thing to get sex here. All right, you want to get sex, fire the same function likewise. All right, is that clear?
No, someone said it's lost. I think you just need to talk about the static cells and
okay,
what's it called?
All right. Yeah. So I'm going to talk about this one more time. Let me use the sex for example. All right. Okay, this is it. Let me do like this.
It's just a static and static cell and what's it called? Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
Yes, okay, go ahead.
Okay, so if I click like this on Braumia, if I click like this, all right, it's giving me Braumia. I'm referencing cell A2. Okay, now once I drag downwards, it gives me the next name, right? La Rotunda William. And likewise, if I keep dragging down, it keeps giving me the next name and the next name and the next name after the next one. All right. Now, what is the logic behind this? Why is it able to move? Why is it that the more I move along, the more I keep clicking and dragging down, the function continues to give me the next name? Is this concept of what's it called now?
Static cell referencing.
Referencing, yeah. Relative and absolute referencing. Yeah. Good. Okay, so that's the logic behind it. All right. So I just have to digress a little. Now, the reason I just use that to explain why if you click and drag down your function, it keeps moving from carry out. And so let's do XLOOKUP. Okay, and I want to look up this employee number, comma, and I'm looking it up inside here. Okay, and then I want to return the sex of these employees like this. Now, without pressing my enter button, I don't want to be in a hurry to press my enter button now. Now, the reason, if I press my enter button, it's going to give me a value here. If I drag down, okay, let me press the enter button. Allow me to do that. Now, it has given me the gender of this employee. Now, the reason why if I drag down, it's giving me the gender for this next employee is because there's a relative referencing, function that is playing out behind the scenes. All right, and that is why when you click and drag like this, it moves from your initial cell lookup value was I21, and now the second one is what? I22. You didn't have to type I22 by yourself. As you drag, it was moving along this column. Likewise, your return array and your lookup array was also moving just like this. Observe what happened. You see, it has left out this first column. All right. This first row. If I drag down one more time, it will leave out the first two rows. You see? So the more I keep clicking and dragging down, it keeps moving. Okay. Now in this other one, it has left out the first three rows. Now this is a challenge, and it can give you a wrong answer. If it tells you it cannot find employee A003 on this list, that is actually a wrong response, because it is actually on this list. The only thing is you are not looking up the entire the complete array, data array. All right. And the solution to that is to you are going to lock this lookup array and the return array, but you're not going to lock the your lookup value, because your lookup value is allowed to move, because of course that is what you want to achieve. You want it to move. You want it to, as I click and drag, look up the next one, look up the next one, look up the next one. But then where you are looking it up, don't move. Just look it up inside all of the complete data. I don't know if I was able to explain.
All right, so I would just so I wouldn't keep every other person waiting. So I know you've done the justice in explaining this in terms of self-referencing, absolute, and the rest. So this is part of similar thing to what I talked about during index and match. There's a lot more to cover when it comes to Excel, which if you just talk about it on the surface level, we will not be doing justice to this conversation. Muiwa here, for instance, takes Excel for beginners, and he'll be more than happy to give you a breakdown. If you don't understand this concept that Kingsley just explained, we have a full session that way we take cell referencing alone, and we'll talk about these things even in greater detail. If you're interested, we can have a conversation after now concerning that, so that Kingsley can actually proceed with the conversation around XLOOKUP, if that's okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, so thank you very much for breaking that down. I mean, there was something that I wanted to show us with respect to XLOOKUP, right? I know that time is fast spent. I need us to start making, we have gone at least on 1 hour since then. Yeah. So please try to get us to the destination. I need these people to leave here excited. I know you've already started. I need us to leave here excited.
Thank you so much, Prof. All right, so let's move on with other exciting things in XLOOKUP. Okay, so yeah, we want to see. I want to introduce to you a new concept known as wildcard. Wildcard. I'm going to spell it here so you see. WILDCARD. Wildcard. This is a new concept, a new function inside of your. Is available in your XLOOKUP function, and it is actually inside of this match mode. The match mode function inside of the XLOOKUP is where you will find this particular guy called wildcard, and I will explain what wildcard does. What wildcard does is it helps you. It breaks that limitation of looking up exact values in your data set or in your lookup array. All right. Muiwa already explained to us how lookup works, how VLOOKUP works. Now in VLOOKUP, if you agree with me that if you want to find Brown Mia, all right, and you type it as Brown Mia without the comma, okay, Brown Mia without the comma, that comma alone is enough to throw up an error. VLOOKUP is going to tell you, I can't find brown Mia on this list, because what is existing on this list is brown, comma, space, Mia. In fact, not just brown, comma, space, Mia. All right. And it's not just space. It doesn't just one space. If it's even double spaces, double space is enough to even throw up another error that I can't find this. Okay. So now this limitation of VLOOKUP is what XLOOKUP has come to eradicate. Now you can, if you know a part of the lookup value, right? Just a part of it, you can be able to find XLOOKUP will be able to return for you a value. All right. So let's see how that works. Now let's try that with Smith. On this list, we have a guy called Smith, Leanne. All right. We don't have anybody with just Smith as a name, but Smith, Leanne. All right. So now we don't know the other part of this person's name, but we know the person's first name is Smith. All right. And we want to return these values regardless. All right. So let's see how that works. I'll start by entering my XLOOKUP, and then I'll select Smith, like select this cell, which is where our lookup value is. All right. And I will do and. Okay, my ampersand is your and then I'm saying I'll double quotation mark with asterisk in the middle. Now I'll explain what this means. This means lookup Smith and other characters. Smith and other character. That's how you read it. The ampersand is your and then you have your double quotation mark with an asterisk in the middle to say in this column where I have my employee name, there's a guy called Smith and there are other characters in front of his name. So please just look for any name that has Smith and other characters with it. And then when you find it, please come over here and comma. So I'm continuing now, right? Comma, look it up inside of my employee name. All right. And then return for me the date of birth, the sex, and the marital description, like this. All right. Now I'll not be in a hurry to press my enter button. Okay. So I'll press comma. Now, the next argument in the XLOOKUP syntax is what's it called now? The if no found, right? Remember I showed you something about your syntax, your XLOOKUP syntax. The next one is if no found. Now I told you again that those functions after the lookup value, lookup array, and then the return array, after these three, all other ones are optional. All right. So now the if no found is optional for me in this case, because of course I definitely want to find the name on this list, but I don't know the full name, but I know a part of the name. So I want to get something. All right. So I'm assuming that this name is there. All right. So I'll put my comma to mean I don't know. I don't want to return any error because I definitely know that there won't be error. Okay. So now I want to skip that part and move to the next part of the function, which says match mode. Match mode. Remember I showed you match mode? Yes, match mode. Now let me show you what the match mode is. For your wildcard, let me close this so it doesn't disturb us. So for your wildcard, it is represented with 2. We have 0 to mean exact match. Let me fix it this way so you can see it clearly. We have 0 to mean exact match. We use -1 to mean exact match or next smaller item. We have 1 to mean exact match or next larger item. We have 2 to mean wildcard. Now I'm going to ignore the first 3 and we'll talk about wildcard, and so that we can just go on with the conversation. We'll come back to all other ones, and I'm sure Prof already.
I'm hoping that we can even I'll say finish the conversation on this particular topic here, so we don't lose the rest of the audience. I mean, we've packed a lot of knowledge into today's session, so if we can quickly round this up so that we could give our people here today what they actually came for. All right.
All right.
Thank you.
So yeah, so wildcard is represented with the number 2. So I'll just type 2. Okay. And I'll just close the bracket at this point. So you use 2 to indicate that this my lookup value is a wildcard actually. It's not just a normal value like the random one you've been doing. So this is a wildcard value. So I'll just press my enter button, and there you have it. You have the lookup, XLOOKUP still giving you the details for Smith, even if for Smith lie, even if we did not have the complete name. Now let's even check something very interesting here. Let's see if I have what's it called? S, but I put S alone. What happens? Oh, it has changed. It changed to um it changed to 1986. Who has this 1986? Since this first guy here. All right. So what has happened? Excel the function has looked up every name that starts with letter S with all other characters in front of it. And the way lookup, in fact, in general works is that it starts once you give it a command to search for something, all right, it starts from the top. And the moment it finds it, it cares less about anything else that is under. Even if there are other values under, the first one is assumed to be the answer. Okay, so it doesn't want to stress, so it takes the first answer as the correct answer. All right, so that is what has happened here. Now remember, the first time we said Smith, so it took Smith as the word, but now you just said S. So it means if you take ST, even ST alone will still give you stings. All right, but if you say SMI, even just SM, because there's no other name that starts with SM here apart from Smith. All right, it gives you the name. Just SM will give you the name. Okay, so whichever let's try someone. Let's try King. If I type King here, you see, without having to type all of the name, King Janet it has given me the date of birth already for King Janet and the gender and also the marital status. All right, so this is what wildcard is like. Now we've just tried wildcard when we know the first name. All right, so now someone else, I don't know the first name, but all of the person, pick one person. Let me pick Jane. Let me pick Jane. And I know Jane, but I don't know Jane's first name. Okay, just like we used to have in our primary school and secondary schools, our teachers usually know us by our surname, right? You may have many Taiwos in the class, but all the Taiwos may have different surnames. It's possible that you know the last name or the surname of this person, but you don't know the first name. Okay, so let's see how we can find Jane. So I'll type Jane here. So I'll do like this, equals XLOOKUP. So I want to find asterisks, like this double quotation, to mean other characters, and which is my ampersand, characters, and Jane. That is my lookup value now. All right, so comma, look it up inside of the employee name, comma, and then return for me the date of birth and sex and marital. I want to ignore the other guy, comma, and then I want to select 2 to mean wildcard and close the bracket and hit my enter button. You see, so without putting all of Jane's complete name, we are able to still get the details for Jane. Is that clear?
Awesome. Even me myself, I'm asking myself, whoa, you're packing a lot for us in a very short space of time.
Yeah.
Well, again, the thumbs up already rolling. I mean, you can imagine talking about HLOOKUP that is not the same thing as VLOOKUP in the same day. You're talking about index and match, and you're also packing in XLOOKUP as well. So you can really imagine how much everybody on this particular call is taking. But I think there's a question you say you have for the audience today, right?
Yeah.
Why you catch your breath? So my people, I mean, Casey has just been speaking a whole lot, and there's something I actually have for you. I mean, guys are already rounding up, and we're already rounding up. So I mean, this is already 1 hour past our initial plan time. But thank you very much for sticking with us. Thank you very much. There's a question I actually have for you people, based on what you've seen with XLOOKUP, right? And based on what you've seen with XLOOKUP, Casey, you can stop sharing your screen now. Based on what
Okay.
you see with XLOOKUP, VLOOKUP, and the rest, right? What would you call XLOOKUP? Would you call XLOOKUP? There's a poll actually for that in case you want to interact. We call XLOOKUP an elder brother or a last born. I'm happy to take voices at this point. Is XLOOKUP an elder brother to the other lookup functions, or a last born to them? How would you call it? All right. I would like you guys to have your say on that. I'd like you guys to have your say quickly on that. Okay, somebody says elder brother. Okay, who again is agreeing with them? Who again is agreeing with them that XLOOKUP is actually an elder brother or a last born? Which one is it for you? Which one is XLOOKUP for you? Which one is it for you? Is XLOOKUP an elder brother or a younger brother? Is XLOOKUP an elder brother or a younger brother for you? People are agreeing that he's an elder brother. Wow. Nobody else is saying he's a younger brother. Okay, good. So, my people, right? It's been a wonderful time sharing this session with you all, and we're indeed grateful for you participating in this, right? XLOOKUP, VLOOKUP. You can see that in the space of 2 weeks, we've gone through some very, 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 very important topics when it comes to Excel, right? But we don't want to leave you here without leaving you with something that is very, very tangible. I mean, as you can see, time is not even our friend whenever we come to these sessions, right? As much as there's so much we want to talk about, there's so much we want to pack in, but there's only so much time that we can do so. But I would love to introduce to you our Excel and Power BI classes that are coming up in the month of September, right? And I noticed that people indicated, when you indicated your hand earlier, when you raised your hand earlier that you wanted to learn Power BI, I'm like, okay, we needed to do something. So right off the top of my head, and my team, please, you have to pardon me. I didn't share with you guys before, but this is just as it came to my head while this right people were indicating interest earlier. Please, I'm dropping a link in the chat box, right? Please fill this form. I need anybody that is interested right here, and we have these programs that are coming up. The Power BI for professionals, the Design for professionals, Power BI for beginners, Excel for beginners. Normally, these prices, the current prices are 150 and the rest. But we want, for everyone that's on this call that says they want to, this is from me to you. From me to you, right? Again, as I said, I didn't share this with my team before now. From me to you, if you're interested in participating in our upcoming program, and because you're attending this particular masterclass, all right, I'll give you this particular offer if you're able to join us for our next class. Okay, this is not going to be made available to every other person, it's just going to be made available to you. Okay, so if you're interested in this, please, I know you raised your hand earlier, and of course, it was just the names we could see. We couldn't see your emails and the rest. We want to be able to reach out to you afterwards. Kindly click on the link in the chat box, right, and share your details with us so that we can reach out to you, right? So that we can reach out to you and get you ready for the next session. Please, if you're interested in joining our next classes, they're starting up in September. The Power BI for beginners, for instance, takes you from start to finish. Everything has regards to do Power BI. Even if you don't use Power BI before, this particular session is meant for you. Excel is what we have been talking about for the last 2 weeks, and you can see there's so many things we've been talking about that may even be sounding strange to you. And the same Excel, okay? Now let us help you get Excel from start to finish. Okay, if you are a beginner, absolute beginner, we have Muiwa here, we have Kingsley here. These guys will also be facilitating these sessions, as you can see them on this call. And I will also be joining in some of these sessions as well, like the professionals class, I will also be there. So if you're interested in taking part in these sessions, okay, please, the link is in the chat box. Kindly click on the link in the chat box and fill in your details so that we can reach out to you. Okay, while that is happening, I just wanted to use the opportunity to introduce again to our partners in this particular program, the RevStar community. For those who are currently on this call, who are revenue professionals, your role is either related to making money for your business, right? Or you are in customer service, the data analyst, the sales and marketing. The RevStar community is a community you should be a part of, and we are proud members of this particular community. You can also visit revstarcommunity.com to be a part of that particular community. Okay, so I'm still waiting for people to indicate their interest. Have you clicked on the form. Okay, one person has done so. I mean, I saw like 10 hands earlier. So if you don't mind, kindly click on the link in the chat box. And again, I'm not asking you, you don't have to. The good thing is that we actually provide these things as a on a flexible payments offer. So even if you're not able to pay up all of this between now and then, you can actually pay this in parts. We actually allow up to 2 installments. You can pay this. So if you have not used Excel before, or you don't understand some of the nitty-gritties of Excel, you are just an absolute beginner in Excel, please sign up for the Excel class. But if you want to cover the Excel and the Power BI classes, right, and we call it our data analytics for professional class, we're not teaching you data analytics for data analysts. No, we're actually helping you who is already using data for data users, like people who attended this call. You are HR, you are in finance, you are in operations. This particular data analytics for professionals is for you. Okay, it is not data analytics for data analysts. I'm not teaching you SQL here. We're teaching you Excel. We're teaching you how to use Power BI to visualize your data in a space of 8 weeks. Okay, it's not going to be during your work hours. We know you're very busy people. Okay, during your weekends, you can use your weekends. 1 hour, 3 hours every weekend should do the justice for you. So if you're interested, I'm still waiting for the form to be filled. Okay. All right. Can we have the recording for today's session? Definitely, the recording of today's session will be made available to everyone. Okay. Any questions for me at this point? Any questions for me at this junction? Has this been a wonderful session for you? Okay, Honesty Bright, please go ahead. Your question.
Is the data analytics for professionals, will it
Yes,
cover
sir.
all that we have discussed today?
Yes, interesting. Yes. We discuss I mean, it's Muyo on this call. I wish Muyo was here. Yes, it actually covers Excel functions. We talk about Excel functions. We talk about Power BI as well during that particular session. Yes.
It's all right.
The good thing about it is that we took one of our topics in there and said, okay, let's make this available for every other person. Let them experience what we do here, right? And that is why we brought up this particular topic is actually from there. Okay. This particular topic you are seeing us discuss today is from one of our programs.
It's all right.
And
Thank
the
you.
cool thing about this is that we have people, and I wish one of our students was on the call. Some of our students were on the call here earlier. Okay, they've left. Okay, I can't find any of them. Mr. Michael, do you want to speak? Sorry, I'm putting you on the spot. Do you want to speak on our behalf at this point? Sir Michael Bankole, if you are still available, though. If you don't want to, it's fine. I mean, Michael is here. Michael is one of us. He also learned with us here. So if Michael, if you are available to speak. Okay, I'm taking that to be in. Okay, Michael, go ahead, please. Yeah, sorry, I have put you on the spot. I know we didn't talk about this before now, so please.
Yeah. Good afternoon. Yeah. I was part of the data analytics for professional, which I took last year, and honestly, it's very insightful. I gain a lot from it, and since then I've been putting Power BI into use, and on my reports and informed decisions. So it's really interesting. I enjoyed the experience.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, sir. I'm sorry that I had put you on the spot like that again. We didn't really discuss about this, but thank you very much. So Michael was one of our learners, and he's the good thing about it is when his team saw what he was doing 8 weeks after, they actually sent an email to us and said, this is what this guy is now doing with Power BI. And for us, we are very proud to have been a part of that particular journey. So thank you very much, Michael, for sharing. So if you are still, I know we had like 10 people or so that said they have not used Power BI or they want to learn Power BI. So I'm encouraging you to please take part, kindly fill the form, and here we can then discuss the details afterwards. Thank you very much for being a part of this session. It's been wonderful sharing this session, sharing this time with you. Jacinta, are you still with us? So I can hand it over to Jacinta. Gia, are you still here?
I'm still here.
Fantastic. Okay.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Kingsley. Thank you, Mr. Muyiwa. Thank you, Prof. Emmanuel. It has been an amazing session today. Thank you, everyone, for joining today's webinar. We've covered a significant ground in understanding the things that we've learned today, and we hope that it doesn't end here. I mean, if you join part 1 and you join part 2, you know that there's a lot more that you can learn. So please feel free to use the link to register and sign up for our class. We would have someone reach out to you to help you complete your enrollment process, and then you can see more of either Mr. Muyiwa or Mr. Kingsley in the actual class. So thank you once again. Let's all remember that the technology landscape is always evolving. We need to keep learning and we need to continue to innovate. We look forward to seeing you guys at our future events and also in our classes starting up in September. Thank you so much for your time and have a great weekend ahead.
Thank you very much, Jane. Thank you very much, everyone, for participating. Have a wonderful weekend ahead.